Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting and speculative topics for Jungkook fans and music industry watchers, and that's trying to predict which American artist will be Jungkook's next collaboration partner. Now, before we get too deep into this, I want to be very clear that this video is speculation and analysis based on observable patterns, industry clues, and informed predictions. I'm not claiming to have insider information or leaked announcements. This is about looking at the evidence that's publicly available and making educated guesses about what might happen next. We're going to analyze Jungkook's past American collaborations, identify patterns in his choices, look at industry clues like social media activity and producer connections, and present the most likely candidates for his next American collaboration. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like, drop a comment with your own predictions about who you think Jungkook should collaborate with next, and let's dive into this fascinating analysis. Alright, so let's start by establishing the foundation for our predictions, which is looking at Jungkook's history of American collaborations and understanding what patterns emerge from those choices. His first major American collaboration was 7 featuring Latto, which was released in July 2023 and became his debut solo single. This song went to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making him the first Asian solo artist to achieve that position. Latto was an American female rapper who had already established herself with hits like Big Energy but was still in the rising star category rather than being a decades-long established legend. The collaboration brought together Jungkook's pop vocals with Latto's rap verses in a radio-friendly, up-tempo track that appealed to mainstream American audiences. This tells us several things about Jungkook's collaboration strategy. He's willing to work with artists who are successful but still ascending rather than only going for the biggest legends. He's comfortable blending pop and hip-hop elements, and he's interested in creating commercially viable mainstream hits. His second major American collaboration was 3D featuring Jack Harlow, which was released in September 2023 as a follow-up to 7. Jack Harlow is a male American rapper who had achieved significant success with songs like First Class and Industry Baby with Lil Nas X. Like Latto, Jack Harlow was an established artist but still relatively young in his career and ascending rather than being at legendary status. The song 3D had a more hip-hop influenced production than 7 and showcased Jungkook's versatility in adapting to different musical styles. What's interesting about choosing both Latto and Jack Harlow is that they both represent contemporary American hip-hop and both bring credibility in that genre while also having crossover appeal to pop audiences. This suggests Jungkook and his team are strategic about choosing collaborators who can help him navigate the American hip-hop and pop landscape. Then we have the Super Bowl 58 appearance in February 2024 where Jungkook performed with Usher during the halftime show. While this wasn't a traditional collaboration in the sense of a released song together, it was a massive public collaboration moment that put Jungkook on stage with an R&B legend in front of over 113 million American viewers. Usher represents a completely different category from Latto and Jack Harlow. He's a legendary artist with over 2 decades of success. He's pure R&B rather than hip-hop or pop, and he represents an older generation of American music. The fact that Jungkook was chosen for this moment and that he performed his own song Standing Next to You, which has strong R&B influences, shows that his musical range extends beyond just contemporary pop hip-hop collaborations. So what patterns can we identify from these 3 collaboration experiences? First, there's genre diversity. Jungkook has worked with female rapper, male rapper, and R&B legend, showing he's not locked into one specific genre or type of collaborator. Second, there's a mix of career stages, from rising stars like Latto and Jack Harlow to an established legend like Usher. Third, all of these collaborations or appearances have been strategic for penetrating the American market. They've all helped him reach different demographics and different segments of the American music audience. Fourth, there's clear attention to musical compatibility. All of these collaborations have made sense sonically and haven't felt forced or awkward. With these patterns in mind, we can start making informed predictions about what kind of artist might be next. Now let's talk about the industry clues that we can observe and analyze to make predictions about potential future collaborations. One of the most accessible sources of clues is social media activity, specifically who Jungkook follows on Instagram and who he interacts with on other platforms. While social media follows aren't definitive proof of anything, they can indicate mutual respect, potential relationships, or at least awareness between artists. Music industry professionals and fans who track these things have noted that Jungkook follows various American artists, and sometimes these follows happen shortly before collaboration announcements. While I won't speculate on specific follows because that can change and can be misleading, the general principle is that artists who are in each other's social media orbits are more likely to collaborate than those who have no connection whatsoever. Another industry clue comes from producer and songwriter connections. The music industry is a network of relationships between artists, producers, songwriters, and other creative professionals. When you look at who produced and wrote Jungkook's solo work, you can identify connections to other American artists who work with the same producers and writers. These shared professional relationships often lead to collaborations because producers will suggest artists to each other, or artists will meet through working with the same production teams. For example, if Jungkook worked with a producer who has also produced for another major American artist, that shared connection creates a pathway for potential collaboration. Looking at the production credits on Golden and his other solo work can give us clues about which American artists might be in his professional network. Genre trends and musical direction also provide clues about potential collaborators. Jungkook has shown through his solo work that he's particularly drawn to R&B, pop, and dance pop sounds with some hip-hop influences. His vocal style is well suited to these genres, and his past collaborations have all fallen within this general musical territory. When we're predicting future collaborations, it makes sense to focus on American artists who work in these genres rather than artists who are primarily country, rock, or other genres that would require Jungkook to dramatically shift his musical approach. While surprises can always happen and Jungkook certainly has the versatility to work in different genres, the most likely collaborations will be with artists whose musical style naturally complements his established sound. Timing and availability are also crucial factors that provide clues about potential collaborations. The music industry operates on schedules and cycles of album releases, tours, promotional periods, and creative development phases. Artists who are actively releasing music and promoting are more likely to be available and interested in collaborations than artists who are on hiatus or focused on other projects. As of now, we're at a period where BTS is preparing for their group comeback with the album Ararang scheduled for March 2026, which means Jungkook's solo activities and potential collaborations need to fit within that timeline. American artists who are also actively in their promotional cycles or who are known to work efficiently and quickly would be more likely candidates for near-term collaborations. Label relationships and business considerations also play a role in determining which collaborations happen. While we as fans might think purely about artistic compatibility, the reality is that record labels, management companies, and business interests are heavily involved in making collaboration decisions. Collaborations that make business sense for multiple parties involved are more likely to happen than collaborations that only benefit one side. When Jungkook works with artists on major American labels like Atlantic, Republic, or Columbia, there are existing business relationships and frameworks that make collaborations easier to execute. Looking at which labels have strong relationships with HYB and which labels have been involved in previous BTS member collaborations can provide clues about which American artists might be more accessible for future projects. Now let's talk about specific predictions based on all of these patterns and clues. I want to emphasize again that these are educated guesses based on analysis, not confirmed information. One category of potential collaborators would be established female pop artists who have R&B influences in their music. Artists like Sabrina Carpenter, who has been having massive success and whose musical style blends pop with R&B elements, could be a great fit for Jungkook. The commercial appeal would be enormous, bringing together Jungkook's global fanbase with a hugely popular American pop star, and musically their voices could complement each other well on a mid-tempo pop R&B track. Another artist in this category could be someone like Tate McRae, who has been rising rapidly in the American pop scene and whose style would mesh well with Jungkook's vocal abilities. Another category of potential collaborators would be contemporary R&B artists who could create a more pure R&B collaboration showcasing Jungkook's vocal abilities in that genre. Artists like Brent Faiyaz, who has a smooth R&B style and has been gaining significant popularity, could provide an interesting collaboration opportunity. This would be more musically focused and less focused on pure commercial pop appeal, but it would help establish Jungkook's credibility as a serious R&B vocalist beyond just being a pop star. Similarly, artists like Daniel Caesar or Black could create really interesting musical chemistry with Jungkook on a more understated, vocal-focused R&B track. A third category would be producer artists who could both produce the track and collaborate as vocalists. Artists like The Weeknd, who is not only a vocalist but also heavily involved in production, could create something really special with Jungkook. The Weeknd's style of dark, moody pop R&B with electronic influences could be fascinating combined with Jungkook's vocals. While The Weeknd is obviously a massive star and getting him for a collaboration might be challenging from a business and timing standpoint, the musical potential would be incredible. Similarly, artists like Post Malone, who blends pop, hip-hop, and rock influences and is known for being collaborative and easy to work with, could create something interesting with Jungkook. A fourth category would be younger artists who are ascending rapidly and looking to expand their own global reach. Artists like Olivia Rodrigo, who has dominated the pop scene with her emotional, rock-influenced pop, might be less likely given the genre difference, but artists in the pop space who are looking to tap into international markets could see collaborating with Jungkook as mutually beneficial. Someone like Gracie Abrams, who is rising quickly and has a more intimate pop style, could create something interesting on a ballad or mid-tempo track with Jungkook. There's also the possibility of Jungkook collaborating with legendary artists who want to work with contemporary stars to stay relevant and reach new audiences. Similar to how the Usher Super Bowl moment worked, established legends who respect Jungkook's talent and see the value in connecting with his global fanbase might be interested in collaborations. Artists like Pharrell Williams, who is not only a performer but also a legendary producer, could create something really special with Jungkook that would blend Pharrell's production genius with Jungkook's vocal and performance abilities. When we look at all of these possibilities and weigh them against the patterns from past collaborations and the industry clues we can observe, certain predictions emerge as more likely than others. If I had to rank the most probable next American collaboration for Jungkook based purely on analysis of patterns and clues, I would say that contemporary pop artists with R&B influences who are currently having major success and who work with producers that are already in Jungkook's network are the most likely candidates. These would be mutually beneficial collaborations that make business sense, fit musically with Jungkook's established style, and could achieve both commercial success and critical respect. It's also worth noting that collaborations in the music industry often happen more organically than fans might expect. Sometimes artists meet at industry events, develop genuine friendships, and decide to work together based on personal chemistry rather than strategic business planning. Sometimes producers introduce artists to each other in the studio and collaborations emerge from those spontaneous creative sessions. So while we can analyze patterns and make predictions, there's always the possibility of surprise collaborations that come out of nowhere based on personal relationships and creative chemistry that we can't see from the outside. So guys, which American artist will collaborate with Jungkook next? Based on our analysis of his past collaboration patterns with Latto, Jack Harlow, and Usher, the industry clues we can observe through social media activity and producer connections, the genre trends in his solo work, timing and availability factors, and label relationships, we can make educated predictions about what might happen next. The most likely categories are contemporary pop artists with R&B influences, pure R&B artists who could showcase his vocal abilities, producer artists who could create something unique, ascending young artists looking for global reach, or potentially even legendary artists looking to connect with new audiences. While we can't know for certain what will happen until official announcements are made, analyzing these patterns and clues gives us a framework for understanding the possibilities and making informed predictions. What do you think? Which American artist do you want to see Jungkook collaborate with next? Do you agree with my analysis or do you have different predictions? Let me know in the comments. And if this video gave you some interesting things to think about regarding Jungkook's future collaborations, please give it a huge thumbs up, share it with everyone who loves discussing Jungkook's career, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.